Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibrations so you can live your best life. Wanted to talk to you today about why we struggle to meditate. And it is really interesting, especially as early awakening seekers. I'm looking for terms. So again, I mentioned this in my last video. I would be very open to hearing how you would define yourself. Do you see yourself as kind of your average Joe, but still just seeking for something more, some sort of fulfillment, something you can't quite put your finger on? Do you consider yourself a light worker? Do you consider yourself just a conscious being? Regardless of how you would identify yourself, if you fall into any one of those categories, if you would even consider yourself part of the new Earth construction team, then this video is for you. Many of us, especially in our early awakening years, but really throughout a vast majority of our journey, we will struggle with meditation. And we hear all of these shoulds around meditation, even though we know resistance and judgment are two of our biggest blocks, two of the biggest reasons that we are not able to level up or take the next step or experience the next level of life, right? It is really the source of creation. The source of illusion and the Maya, the confusion, comes from resistance and judgment. And it is very pervasive. We don't quite realize when it's sneaking in or when it's, rearing its ugly head. We might be relatively acceptant of how things are in the vast majority of our life. And then we sit down to meditate and we don't realize that we are being rigid around what that looks like. And of course, meditation is amazing, absolutely necessary, a critical life skill. It is separate from mindfulness. We have mindfulness is just being conscious and aware of everything that you do and say and eat and think and all the things. Certainly we can have mindful meditation, and yet they are separate. And I believe there is a new level to this that is emerging through my experience with clients and through brain spotting, which I am now considering myself a trauma spotting through source tapping facilitator. So if you follow me for a while, I am a brain spotting trained facilitator. I have been through 2 of the 4 phases of certification. So I am a certified facilitator, but yet working towards a training certification. And what has become very evident through this experience, the reason I am sort of renaming what I do or the way I present brain spotting is because of the energy healing element that has been divinely gifted to me and through me. And there is more to it, that when you brain spot with a person who does not have an understanding, who's not conscious, who does not have an understanding of the spiritual realm, the unseen, we'll say. I like to really ground these things in scientific terms because it's not all woo-woo. It is very much practical everyday life skills. And that's, I think, why I struggle with the term light worker. Because this is everyday life, right? This is practical life skills as much as brain or brushing your teeth and going to the gym is necessary. So is meditation. So are many of these spiritual truths, universal laws, really. So I need to keep thinking about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyhow, getting back to the point, there's more to meditation. There is a next level. While mindfulness and meditation are similar but different, there is this next level of stillness. And stillness can come through meditation. Mindfulness can come through meditation. We can be mindful without meditating. We can be mindful in meditation. The same way we can be meditating without experiencing stillness. And what I've discovered through trauma spotting, through source tapping, TSST, to make it easier, is that there is a process that is necessary. That traditional brain spotting and TSST is used to heal the wounds that hold us back, to remove especially abundance blocks or worthiness blocks or the lack mentality, to reprogram the subconscious. And in that process, what needs to happen can be a cognitive processing, that thoughts are necessary to bring us from where we want to go to, so from where we are to where we want to go, from the average Joe seeker to mastery level, or, you know, heaven forbid we call ourselves gurus, right? But I like mastery. And that cannot happen, especially the healing process cannot happen without some level of cognitive processing. And so the way brain spotting and trauma spotting through source tapping, TSST, work, I do repeat things because it's important for the community to start to warm up to these things. The way that this works is that I use a pointer. We use the pointer to find the access point through the eyes, which allow us to connect to the limbic brain, because the eyes are directly connected to the limbic brain through the optical nerve. The limbic brain is the area of the brain that houses the access to the trauma that is in the body. It houses the program, the beliefs of however you see the world. The belief may be that I am not safe, the world is not safe, I'm not enough, there is never enough. And these programs are housed in the limbic brain. The only way that we can access them or reprogram them is through some type of somatic therapy. The two most well-known are EMDR and brain spotting. Now we'll add a third, trauma spotting through source tapping. What happens is a somatic experience as much as it is a cognitive experience, but it cannot happen solely at a cognitive level. And this is why talk therapy alone doesn't work. We can talk about it all day long and not shift and change anything somatically. And it is the combination of the two that are necessary. So I'm getting to the point here. Why meditation doesn't work for many of us is because we have not allowed the somatic and cognitive processing that needs to happen before we can find stillness. Now, I will add the caveat that many of us can and have learned how to shut off thought consciously, but there is a level of suppression that is happening in that. So if you're one of the many who, or one of the few, however we want to say it, I don't have quantifiable data to say which is which, but if you are one of those who is able to sit down and choose to go into meditation, and for me, it feels like a little switch, and I flip the switch and I can make my brain be quiet. And that's okay. That works. It's better some days than others. And it's good. It helps the nervous system calm. It helps the brain shift into those lower or slower levels of consciousness that do open us up to divinely guided support or guidance, I guess. But yet there is going to be a certain level of effort that is in that, because likely if we are not frequently going through the process of actually reaching stillness through processing, through TSST, through brain spotting, that is a faux stillness. It is a unsustainable stillness. So what I am here to propose is that somatic processing, like brain spotting or trauma spotting through source tapping, is necessary. It's a predicator to meditation, that we have to reach true sustainable stillness by emptying out through the processing that has to happen. So when we bring out the pointer and we find the access point through the eyes to the limbic brain, then we go into the body and we find the activated area that's connected to the issue at hand. We sit with that sometimes for 5 or 10 minutes, but the greater impact happens in that 30, 40, 50, 60-minute session. And you can ask anyone who's experienced this with a good facilitator, especially someone who's worked with me, you will hear that initially the difficult things come up, those pestering thoughts that we can't quiet when we're in meditation, the nasty things that our parents said to us, or our caregivers or our peers or our toxic partner, whatever it was, they ring in our ears for a while, but then we allow them to continue to move. And with sustained focus and attention on the body, and allowing the thoughts to come, not controlling them, but allowing them to move as they see necessary, you will process them and you will find yourself coming to greater and greater levels of peace, more and more resourceful thoughts and beliefs. You are reprogramming the subconscious, you're rewriting the programs in the limbic brain, and you come back to your truth. The truth of who you were before the world changed you. The truth of what you are designed for. The truth of how the divine sees you. The truth of your connection and interconnection and oneness with the divine. I used to say when I was young, that the only thing I ever wanted was peace, because I experienced a lot of chaos, inner turmoil, external abuse, physical, mental, emotional, sexual. To me, I was never at ease. I was always in that hypervigilant state, always wondering, when is the next ball going to drop? Or when am I going to get blindsided by the next thing? And that causes internal chaos. We're also dealing with a hustle culture where everyone out there has been programmed to believe that to be busy and to fill your time and to distract and to numb and to avoid is the name of the game, when really it's the antithesis of everything we seek. The peace that we are seeking, the fulfillment that we are seeking, the reassurance, the oneness, the connection, the guidance, the clarity, it all comes through stillness. Stillness does not always happen through meditation. Stillness is a necessary predicator to meditation and is what allows the mind to naturally be quiet and still without effort. If we are efforting, there is something we are missing. And I've promised that I will try to keep my videos short, so I'm not going to belabor this point. But I encourage you to start to see that when you sit down to meditate, it is okay if your mind will not be still. Don't resist it. Another fascinating point that helps illustrate this, some more scientific evidence, is that 40% of all nerve fibers in the brain are connected and linked to the retina, the eye. More than 50% of the cortex, the surface of the brain, is devoted to processing visual information. 90% of the information transmitted to the brain is visual. It can be difficult to sit quietly, stilly, with your eyes closed and not think, because we are going against the very fabric of the design that we have for processing and releasing traumas, unnecessary or unhelpful or outdated emotions, which become blocks in our body. So if you are not able to meditate in stillness, in complete stillness and silence, I encourage you to do something more like daydreaming. Identify the topic or issue that you are concerned with, the thing that keeps coming to your mind, the thing that keeps pestering you when you try to meditate. Notice where in your body you feel an activation when you recall or when you allow yourself to think of this thing. And as you look for that thing, that sensation in your body, you're remembering the thing, you're thinking of the thing that wants your attention, the thoughts that want your attention. You find the sensation in your body. And as you're finding the sensation in your body, your eyes will look around. Your eyes will find a focal point that says, okay, there it is, I found it. Allow yourself to look at that thing and just stare at that thing. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to silence yourself. You don't have to prevent the thoughts. Focus on the body is helpful, coming back to the body when your mind starts to run off into a scary rabbit hole. But allow whatever comes up. Allow the natural processing. Now, the trick is you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to get distracted. You're going to want to check your phone or Google. And this is why TSST and brain spotting work, because you have that facilitator there to help you hold the space, help you hold the focus. But if you can do it on your own, you will go through the difficult things and come out on the other side with the clarity that you need to release it. And then you will be free of that baggage, that block. I hope you find this helpful. Sometimes I can bring up topics that are a little bit outside the norm, but I have to follow guidance. And in the stillness that I seek and achieve daily, I have made a commitment to myself and to the divine and our relationship to find this space in between. That my absolute top priority is stillness at a bare minimum once a day. And that doesn't always happen in 5 or 10 minutes. And I would encourage you, if you are a seeker looking for something and not sure what that is, this is how you find it. Okay. If you need help with this, I have a new community that we have opened called the New Earth Construction Team. There's a link to join us below. We do this at least once a month, maybe twice, depending on how things move forward. We also go through the success path, all the different steps that it takes to get from being a seeker to a master. And I also have a course and coaching program if you would like to expedite that process. Otherwise, the community is the most affordable option at this time. All right. I love you, my friends. I will see you on the next video. Please do make sure you share this with a friend if you find that they can benefit from it. Otherwise, just a thumbs up or an emoji comment would be super helpful. Please spread the word and help us create the new earth. I love you, my friends. Take care. Namaste.